I will present Workflow. It helps you to plan and automate your marketing campaigns. Workflow has many important features. However, I'll mention some of them. You can build strong relationships with your customers by using welcome emails, for instance. You can also send messages to target groups, for example, to contacts with a particular tag. Moreover, you can generate discount coupons, and when you get activity alerts and information on what your contacts are interested in, you can deliver personalized offers. You can also update your database by deleting inactive contacts or redirecting them to different campaign stages. Workflow offers a multi-channel communication, and that for sure will support you in achieving your goals. Now we can go to Workflow Creator, which you can find in quick links. On the Up-on ribbon, you have settings where you can name your workflow campaign and decide whether to show grid. Clicking on and off, you activate and deactivate your campaign. You can save a campaign as a draft or save, but please remember that when you save your campaign as a draft, the system doesn't verify if workflow is created correctly. Below, there is a space for your campaign. The first element is Start, and other elements you can find on the right when you click Elements. To build your campaign, you have Events, Conditions, Actions, and also ABX test, wait, and end. I'll click Events to unfold the list, and you can scroll the list or type in the text field. Using drag and drop method, you take the element or elements to a free space. Dragging an arrow, you link the elements, and remember that you can delete the link at any time when you click an X. You can also delete the element or go to its settings. I'll go to Settings to specify a tag. And when I put the name, I click Save Changes. Please remember that events, marked with dark blue, initiate the process in workflow, so the contact needs to fulfill the conditions to proceed to the next stage of the campaign. In other words, the system waits until the contact fulfills the conditions. In this particular situation, when the contact fulfills the conditions of the first event, the contact will follow this path. However, when the contact fulfills the conditions of both events, the system will choose a path at random. Now we can continue. I would like to send an email to contacts tagged New Client, but I'm not really sure which email will be the most effective one. So I can have an ABX test. I also choose Actions, first, I will link elements. You can have up to 4 tests. You can change the number of tests clicking a plus or a minus. Please remember that the total number given in percentage has to equal 100. So I specify the number and click Save Changes. Now in Settings, I will specify the email which will be sent to a contact. I can also decide after what time the event will occur. It will be after 3 days. You can also adjust time to the biggest activity of the contact. You can adjust it to day and hour, just a day, or just an hour. You can also send a copy of an email to the main owner or any other email address you provide in here. And again, I'll adjust time and send a copy of an email to the main owner. Actions, which are with green icons, are automated system operations that are triggered by preceding elements. You should remember that multiple actions can be activated at the same time. Action can take place if a condition is met or not. You can freely delay them and they don't have to end a workflow. Now we can continue. I will have a condition for both actions. So I link elements. Please remember that conditions, which are marked with orange color, specify conditions for actions to be fulfilled. To verify if the contact meets a condition, an entire contact card is always checked by the system. You can add any number of conditions, and I will tell you about 2 types of conditions. So the first type of condition is yes/no condition. You need to design 2 paths if the contact fulfills the condition and the alternative path if the contact doesn't fulfill the condition. An orange arrow will be for the situation when the contact fulfills the condition. A white arrow will be for the situation when the contact doesn't fulfill the condition, so for the alternative path. You can also have other type of conditions, conditions with priorities. So you can have up to 5 different paths, and each scenario is granted with a priority from 1 to 5, where 5 is the lowest. Now we can continue adding actions to our workflow campaign. I link elements. And you see, if the contact opens an email, there is a coupon for a contact. If the contact doesn't open an email, there is an alert to the user. In settings, you can specify the name of the coupon, its length and validity in days. In case of alert, you give its description, and you can also choose other options like sending alert to the main owner, to a particular email only, and you can add attachments. and save changes. For this particular path, it will be an and. Now I can continue with another path. I will choose an action. I link elements. Then I will have a condition. I link elements. And again, in settings, I can specify the email, decide after what time the event occurs, and I can adjust sending time to the biggest activity of the contact. Then I will have two other actions. And I link elements. So if the contact clicks on an email, clicks on a link in the email, there will be a coupon for the contact. If the contact doesn't click on a link in the email, there is an automation rule. And I can continue with another action. I link elements. I go to the settings to specify the funnel. And then I will have another element. This option is used when you want to have a delay between a trigger and the activator of an action or a condition. You can add the timer to any element in your workflow campaign. In settings, you can specify the delay value in hours, days, weeks, and even months. And now it will be the end also for the second path. Please remember that the contact who has started the campaign always follows one path. So in other words, the contact can't be in few or several places simultaneously. The contact can participate in several campaigns at the same time. In the situation when contact ends the path in the campaign, it is possible to start the same campaign all over again if conditions of this campaign are fulfilled. And please remember again that each path has to end. When you create and save your workflow campaign, you can go to its analytics. First, on the left, you go to Automation Processes, and then on the up-on ribbon you click Workflows. There is a list of your campaigns. There is a date of its creation, a date of its modification, and a description. The status of its campaign is inactive, but when you go to Action, you can activate your campaign. You can also duplicate your campaign or delete it. At any time, you can edit your campaign, but now we will focus on its analytics. First, you choose the time period you're interested in. Last 7 days in my case, but you can choose even last 12 months as a period. Below, there is a detailed analytics of stages in workflow. Stage name, number of all launches, number of launches in the last 7 days, and the comparison with the period of the previous 7 days, presented in percentage. Now we can go to Workflow Email Analytics. Again, you choose the time period and you see number of sent messages, opened messages, and clicked messages. All this data you can see presented in the chart. Below there is a list of sent mailings. You can filter mailings when you choose Showed Planned Also or Show Deleted. You can also search a particular message. In different columns you see a date, sender, message, number of sent messages, number of opened messages, and number of clicked messages. You can also see what open rate is. It is presented in percentage and it means the number of opened emails compared to the number of sent emails. There is also click-through rate, also presented in percentage, and it means the number of clicked emails compared to number of open emails. Then you can export this data. Now we can go to Workflow SMS Analytics. Again, you can choose Show All, Show Owned, and Show Planned. And here you see in different columns date, sender, name, contacts, number of contacts, number of sent messages, number of delivered, undelivered messages, and replied. You can also see particular contacts and delete some data.